Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics, back from our hiatus week with Scott Pilgrim versus the World, 2010 romantic action comedy film. I'm Dylan. Joining me as always are Cam and Zach. And to kick things off, get everybody in the right mood this week, we're going to be drinking. We've done gin and tonics before, but this week we're doing the Scott Pilgrim gin and tonic, which is gin on the rocks. Because for some reason he orders gin and tonics the whole movie and is only served like, a finger of alcohol or whatever that measurement is.
That's a whole finger for you? Damn.
You guys have impressive fingers.
Your fingers are impressive. You must be very proud.
Why are you just going to tee it up like that?
Check the show notes below. I mean, I don't have to tell you what it tastes like. It's gin on the rocks. Like, it's going to be juniper-y. It's better than vodka. Maybe not as great as bourbon. Hit the Drizzling Casker links below. Get some gin delivered directly to your door, and we get a little bit of kickback from that. Try it. Maybe have an actual gin and tonic first because it'll be a little bit better. You can check out Scott Pilgrim as of recording on Peacock with ads.
I'm pretty sure that's where I watched it. It might be with a premium subscription, but it is on there. Actually, I'm not sure. It is on Peacock, though, so that's probably good enough.
Okay. You can watch Scott Pilgrim on Peacock as of recording because we're going to spoil it. Scott Pilgrim is a 2010 action comedy fantasy film. It currently sits at a 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb. It is directed by Edgar Wright, written by Michael Bacall and Edgar Wright, based on the graphic novels by Brian Lee O'Malley. It stars Michael Cera, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Kieran Culkin, Anna Kendrick's in there, Allison Pill, Aubrey Plaza, Jason Schwartzman, Johnny Simmons, Mark Webber. Who's the one dude? I think his name's Brandon Routh.
Aubrey Plaza.
Brandon Routh, the guy who plays the vegan Todd. He was Superman in Superman Returns. Brie Larson is in there. Lots of people who went on. Oh, Chris Evans.
Yep.
A lot of people who went on to like do
loaded.
Marvel and. Yeah, just kind of a stacked cast, to be honest. Bill Hader was the voice, the like narration voice.
Oh, really?
Shit.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I never knew that actually. I only saw that when I was watching the credits at the end of the movie. I was like, wait a second. It's the story of, in a magically realistic version of Toronto, a young man must defeat his new girlfriend's 7 evil exes one by one in order to win her heart. I had seen this film. Cam, you had seen this before?
Yep.
And then Zach had not.
Nope. Lone Goop Squad.
I know. I wish Ben was here because I wanted you both to experience. Man, I love this movie. I'm just gonna.
This movie sucks. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It is a good movie.
I feel like I loved it a lot more when I was younger. Just based on like I don't know. I really like those like early 2010s Michael Cera comedies, like awkward. Dude,
Yeah.
like teen love kind of thing.
I forgot how much of a fucking loser Scott Pilgrim was in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, he's a total ass too.
Well, I mean, he's like literally dating a 17-year-old. As like,
Yeah,
what, he's like 23, right? Something like that?
I don't get why that had to be such a focal point of the movie. I feel like it was shoved down my throat that he was dating a 17-year-old for like the first 20 minutes.
Well, I think it's to show how much like of a kind of a loser he is. Like,
Well, it's.
and an asshole.
I mean, kind of like it was
like
like
you
kind of
said.
like I said. Like I feel like the first half of the movie really just focuses on him being an ass, and it just builds the whole time. Like it's like like he's 22, and he's rebounding with a 17-year-old, and then like he cheats on her with Ramona, who he like sees in his like the subspace highway or whatever in his mind, and like he's like instantly infatuated with her. Leaves Knives just like after she's like, come to have dinner with me, I'm in love. And he's like, oh, sorry, deuces.
yeah.
And then like at the one point, like he's just increasingly like obviously he's fighting like 6 evil exes at this point, but he's like being a douche to Ramona. She's like, you're just another one waiting to happen, you ass.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I think it tries to, like, you're supposed to, like, want to believe in him being the not evil ex, you know? Like, and I think they do a good job of setting it up where he, like, you don't realize it at first, I think, but, you know, he is an asshole. Like, he is kind of set up by the story to be like the hero, but he's also kind of not in a lot of respects as well.
Yeah. I feel like that also really comes out more in the graphic novels, like Daddy's an ass. Also, one of the things that's super weird to me is when he tells the story of like Kim, I think is her name, like dating Kim, and Ramona's like, oh, like what's the story there? And he's like, no, I had to fight a 50 tall dude in a purple suit, and like had to fight 98 other guys to get to that guy. That actually happens in the graphic
Oh.
novel. so
I didn't
so
know
like
these were
that
based
is
on
like
books.
Yeah.
yeah, like he's not being like an ass technically there, but like it is like an asshole comment that he makes. It is kind of funny too. I noticed watching the movie that, and the second time he goes through to like fight Gideon, the I forget the guy's character's name. Is it like Cuomo or something? The guy who knows
Yeah,
everybody at the
Cuomo.
party. Like he's sitting at the door to the elevator, and he says, "Oh, the comic's so much better than the movie," or something like that. Like just being super meta about the whole thing.
God, who was that guy? Nelson Franklin. I feel like he plays the same dude in every movie.
What is he in? Let's see. Oh, he's in Veep.
Yeah, he
in
was in
Veep for like
Veep.
7 years.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he's
was
Nick,
there the
graphic
whole
design
time.
guy in Office. New Girl, he was Robbie.
He was also in Captain Marvel.
I think this movie, it's definitely kind of like cult classic at this point, I would say. But I feel like it's definitely an acquired taste. I don't know, because I don't think everyone would love the style of this movie.
Oh, yeah, no, it's definitely a unique flavor of movie because it's like it's like it's a film, but then it's also got like graphic novel elements in it, and it's got video game elements in it.
They just
Did
do Seinfeld for like 2 minutes in the movie.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many like homages to like different media and stuff.
At
Yeah,
one
the
point, he's
Seinfeld.
literally wearing a rock band T-shirt. He's got like a bass, like the rock band icon
Yeah.
for a bass on his T-shirt.
The cinematography, or at least like the style, is very like 2010s kind of action. Like it's very clean, and there's a lot of like lens flares, and the fight scenes are like kind of like high motion blur action. But I do love, like, I feel like it's a unique style of movie, but I do love it because of that sense. Like I feel like no one else could have directed this movie besides like Edgar Wright, because I feel like it fits his style so well. And honestly, it's probably my favorite Edgar Wright movie.
Nah, it couldn't be me.
No, you're like Shaun of the Dead.
I mean, for real, I think Shaun of the Dead is probably my favorite. This was good. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I like that. I haven't seen it at World's End, but I like Shaun of the Dead. We just watched Hot Fuzz the other day, and I like Baby Driver as well.
It's The World's End. I think you're thinking of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie at World's End.
Yeah, there's so many end world whatever. There's so many movies, you know. And then there was This Is the End that came out around
Yeah.
the same time.
Yes,
That was
those
also-
two always confuse me.
Yeah.
Hold on. No. Edgar Wright is going to redo The Running Man, apparently. It's been announced.
Oh yeah, I see that on IMDb.
I'm interested. Stephen King and Edgar Wright? Yes. The Running Man is actually really good, though. I would recommend.
Lots of quick cuts.
Never seen that either.
I've never seen the movie. I'm saying in the new
Next
version of
week.
The Running Man, there's gonna be a lot of quick cuts. I like Edgar Wright, but he loves the quick cut.
Oh, but it's such a well done like comedic part though, because the quick cut is always done when it's like something very boring.
Oh yeah,
Like-
for sure. Like I was like, it happens in this movie a lot.
When he's
Like I
like
say, we were-
putting his shoes on and stuff.
Yeah, we were
He
just
grabs his jacket.
watching Hot Fuzz, and there's a lot of quick cuts in there, like you said, and kind of mundane action shots.
Yeah, the big one is Shaun of the Dead was like the first time I noticed where he does the like, it's like him flushing the toilet, brushing his teeth real quick, and
Yeah.
like putting on his like name badge. That little like quick thing where you're like super high action like quick cuts for like somebody's just getting ready.
Right.
I don't know. This movie, Scott Pilgrim, is like such a influential movie. I feel like on my meta quotes, that you make when you quote a movie. Like what's the one he says? Oh, like you got to use the L word, Scott. Lesbian? No, the other L word. Lesbians?
I lesbian you. Oh, I gotta go pee on her.
God, yeah. But I don't know. Could you make this movie today?
Why not? Yeah, sure. I don't know why. I mean, it's not that old.
Knives
I, I
Chow would need to probably be 18.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's true. I mean, I think they show pretty well that what he's doing is not okay. Everybody keeps flaming him for doing it in the movie. Like, I think
well,
that there's definitely a difference between like doing behavior and glorifying behavior in a movie. Like, I think you can do reprehensible behavior in a movie as long as it's clear that it's reprehensible by the people in that movie.
the when the vegan police come in, that like the gelato bit always like that is the one quote I always quote, and everyone's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" It's like you willingly ingested gelato. Gelato's not vegan. It's milk and eggs, bitch.
I love that. Chicken's not vegan?
That's like my parents. Every time I'm like, I'm vegetarian, my parents are like, chicken's not vegetarian? I'm like, no. It's literally meat.
No, Mom.
Yeah, like no one is really safe in this movie, it feels like. Like we make fun of vegans. Uh they make fun of like punk bands. Like I mean literally Scott's band is like kind of ass. And they know they're ass.
Yeah.
But are somehow successful? Slightly.
Well, they're only successful because of, I don't know. It feels like Gideon's trying to like get under
Yeah.
Pilgrim's skin.
Egg them on, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then what's her face? Envy also like brings them on and like, oh yeah, open the like
Yeah.
the success is because someone is trying to like piss them off, basically.
Right. Piss off Scott in particular. None of the others. Like, they don't give a fuck about any of the others. They're just trying to piss off Scott.
Like, come open the show for me. No. Zach, what was how was it your first time, your maiden voyage of Scott Pilgrim?
This was like a really unique movie. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it, where like the complete disregard for sticking to a script, but like having a style. This movie will just throw anything at you at any given time. And you see that 15 minutes in with like a pow coming across the screen. Don't expect that at all. Going back to Scott's apartment, and for some reason, there's a slow video game style pan across the room to show you who's what. And that goes on for the whole movie, and it's constantly brand new, like this isn't in the style of this movie type of effects that happen constantly. It kept me on my toes. At no point in time was I bored.
Yeah, when I saw started the movie and I saw the runtime was like almost 2 hours, I was like, really? This movie's that long? I don't know why. I always thought it was shorter, but I mean, it kind of makes sense when you say like you're not bored watching it. Yeah, the like slow pan across with those like little tiles that pop up is like straight out of the graphic novel. Yeah, there's the like pows and the KOs. Everyone busts into coins and
Yeah,
it like does the value.
But he literally
The-
explodes into coins.
the fight scenes were like, you could see parts of it. You're like, all right, this is Super Smash Brothers fighting. That's what this fight's gonna be. 30 seconds later, all right, we're doing like a Tekken
Right,
or like Mortal
Kombat,
Kombat
yeah.
thing, and it's like, it was not disorienting, but it was heading in that direction.
I mean, it kind of is. Like the first dude is like, uh, Matthew Patel is like, he's got his demon hipster chicks and he's got fireballs coming out of his hands, and then like literally no other villain has that.
Yeah.
Like the next one is the actor Lucas Lee, who's like just good like actor punching, like fighting and skateboarding. The next one was
3 was not the girl. He met the girl after Chris Evans, but they didn't fight
Yeah.
yet. Well, here, let me look at the cover.
there's the-
It was
there's the
Chris
cat-
Evans. So it was Patel, then Chris Evans, then
oh,
I
then
think it was
Todd.
the vegan,
Yeah,
right?
Todd.
And then it was the girl, and then it was the twins, and then it was Gideon.
Yeah. Well, I guess Todd has his vegan powers
Yeah,
that he
he has
then
his vegan
loses.
powers. It's funny because Patel, like the intro to the fight, he starts fighting, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "You didn't get my email." He's like, "I skimmed it. I emailed you explaining all of this."
It's funny because that's how I got that. I think it was on framed.wtf or whatever the game. Scott Pilgrim was on there, and the first picture was just that the email, like the the duel, and I was like, oh, that's Scott Pilgrim. Okay.
I love that Scott Pilgrim is a jerk, but also he's extremely Canadian in this movie. Like the whole movie is based on like technology puns and like recent social media, like video game things and tropes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he like his computer goes, "You've got mail," and he goes, "Oh wow, this thing says I have mail."
Yeah, like he's never used a computer before. He's like,
Exactly.
oh, what's Amazon.ca? What's the website for that? Amazon.ca. Yeah. Okay. I love the one where Knives like comes to the first practice and they're like, oh yeah, this is Steven Stills, like he's the talent. Kim's on drums. I play the bass, and that's Neil. Oh, what do you play? That's a tough one. Zelda.
Young Neil.
Yeah. Oh, so, well, hey, he becomes Neil. Yeah. I always think that joke is going to be like, oh, you were young Neil. Now you're Neil Young. But
Oh.
are there some good scenes or quotes that stuck out to you?
I loved Aubrey Plaza in this movie. I think she's
I'm not
hilarious.
shocked. She's so stupid and awesome and funny and quirky. I just love her.
You talking about Ramona Flowers? No.
No, she was funny when she was in the scenes.
When she's like bleeped out to
Yes.
keep the movie PG-13.
Yeah.
How are you doing that?
I wonder if that was why it was to keep the movie PG-13. They're like, how can we do this like funny and keep the movie like more accessible to people? Because I think you get one F-bomb before you're rated R.
Oh.
It's something weird like that.
I mean, Wallace being able to leak all of the drama instantly was pretty funny.
Sleeping.
While he's sleeping.
I mean, his character is pretty funny in general.
Oh yeah, Wallace is like the best character in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like when he steals Anna Kendrick's boyfriend at
Oh my God.
at the first
Yes.
show.
And she's like, not
Hilarious.
again.
Do they suck or do they rock? They haven't started playing it. That was a test.
That was a test.
Or like when they're having their date or whatever, he's like, and you were worried about me gaying up the place? I would eat garlic bread for every meal if I could, but then you would get fat. What? No, I wouldn't get fat. Bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat?
Or there was a classic like kind of dad joke where he's like, where what's her face like, I've never kissed a guy before. He's like, neither have I. All right.
This is just a stupid joke in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of those, but they still just like crack me up all the time. Like when Scott and Ramona are like walking up to the castle, he's like, when I'm around you, I kind of feel like I'm on drugs. Not that I do drugs, unless you do drugs, in which case I do them all the time. All of them.
Yeah. Or they had the callback to the lesbians things where he says, I'm in lesbians with you. And he doesn't realize what he said for like a minute. And he's like, oh my God, I said lesbians.
We have an unfinished business, he and I. He and me. Don't you talk about grammar. Did you really see a future with this girl? Like, with jetpacks?
Yeah, I mean, in general, it's just kind of like I don't know. Like, the silly like an action movie that like I don't know, it gets kind of nice at the end, but I don't know, like the action scenes are like surprisingly well done. I thought for like
This movie is
what this type of
surprisingly
one
like an
was.
action movie.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. It is an action movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know. I think it's the perfect blend of mixing like stupid late 2000s, early 2010s comedy films with like a not necessarily like a shoot 'em up action, but borderline.
yeah, it's very.
Like
It does feel very similar to an absurd shoot 'em up movie. Like yeah, like one where the action's just like way over the top. I mean, at one point they're the bands are fighting. Like he's fighting the twins, and like they're fighting like basically avatars of themselves. You know, like they're fighting like a Godzilla, if I remember correctly, or whatever.
yeah,
Each other.
the I think the sex bombs becomes like a giant gorilla, and then the twins have like dueling dragons, basically.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I mean, yeah, definitely over the top. On IMDb, it says that Michael Cera apparently had to dumb down his bass playing in order to like not sound so good.
I think he's actually like he
Apparently
actually
he's
plays
good.
bass, but
Yeah.
like everyone else,
The rest
I
of the
think
band
did
doesn't.
learn their instruments though.
But that's interesting. I didn't know he was actually a good bass player.
I was gonna say that Beck actually helped with a lot of the music for this film.
I was gonna say the music was banging.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
Brie Larson's cover of that song was good. I thought. I don't remember what it's called, but it's by Metric.
let's see. So Beck wrote all of the Sex Bomb songs.
Damn.
"We Hate You, Please Die" by Crash and the Boys. If I tried to sit down and describe this movie to you, it would be rough.
Yeah, it's so weird. I do feel like this is definitely one where you kind of just have. I can't really think of another movie quite like it. Like it's one where you kind of just have to like watch it for yourself.
I mean, I haven't seen it, but I feel like it's probably got similar vibes to like Everything Everywhere All at Once, where it's like unique
kinda
in
I
that
guess.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I guess in its uniqueness, maybe. I still don't know if I've ever seen a movie like that, like Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was, I don't know. Whenever that becomes available for streaming, I know it's not a classic, but we seriously need to watch it and do a podcast on it because it is legit one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's really good.
Well, I still haven't seen it, so I will
Yeah,
wait for the podcast episode, I guess.
yeah. No, it's fantastic. I mean, I hope it comes to streaming soon because I want to watch it again.
It'll probably have to. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
It depends. I don't know.
Hulu and Amazon usually get A24 pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I mean, if I have to pay a nominal fee to watch it again, that would be fine. But
Cam and I had seen this film, so we'll give you nostalgia ratings. But first, the solo goob in the Goob Squad is going to give you a initial rating for his first viewing.
Big goober rating. There was like very little to not like about this movie. The puns, the dad jokes were hilarious. The characters were like right up my alley. Those were like my people. It was a good trip back to 2010. Going to like arcade bars, and I don't know about like not knowing what the internet is, but like the pop culture references are really cool. Not a huge fan of Scott Pilgrim needing to date a 17-year-old, but maybe that's cool in Canada, you know?
I was going to say, I don't know what the. Also, some of the humor is a little edgy. I mean, granted, no one is no one's great person in the movie, but like, Gideon says, "All right, Kung Pao chicken," to the Asian girl.
whoa.
What's his face? Scott. I mean, not necessarily like racist in a sense, but he does say something along the lines of like, "Are you even allowed to date outside your own race?" When Knives is like inviting him to dinner.
That's racist, I think, for sure.
It's borderline, maybe. But
I don't even know if it's borderline. I feel like I don't know.
I feel like he said it.
Yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah.
far.
No, I mean, I think part of it is that, like, I mean, it's earlier, and I do. it's hard because, like, on one hand, it's like, yeah, these aren't great people, but I do feel like there's a way to show that and still have, like, jokes that are degrading, but not, like, I feel like part of it's just, like, being lazy, you know? Like, it's cheesy, but it's also kind of lazy. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like there would be a better way, like, a more clever way to be, like, to do
Yeah.
this. I don't know.
And I do think humor and that sort of stuff has just changed even in the 12 years
Oh, yeah, for sure.
since this movie. They did a 10-year anniversary reading of the script and had most everyone back. I think besides like Brie Larson, during COVID, like when everyone was like getting back together and like doing
Yeah.
stuff on like they did like a live stream like reading, and it's pretty funny. I think it's probably available on YouTube still. Cam, do you want to go next? Or Zach, are you done?
Zach didn't give his final rating.
we interrupted him. Sorry, my bad.
I like this movie so much I actually watched it twice. 8 out of 10.
Wow, nice. Yeah. So I went into this giving it a 7 out of 10. I think that's what my score is on Letterboxd, is a 3.5, I think. And I'll leave it at a 7 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it again. I thought, honestly, it wasn't going to hold up super well to my expectations of it, but it was good. It was even maybe a little better than I remember it, honestly. But I haven't seen it in probably about 10 years. So that's I wasn't sure what I would think. I don't know. I've been kind of avoiding watching movies I haven't seen in a long time. Like, I haven't seen Step Brothers in probably like 10 years because I really remember liking that movie, and I don't want to be disappointed again. Yeah. When I watch it and be like, oh, this isn't as good as I thought it was when I was in high school. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it at a 7. I thought it was good, and it's a unique movie for sure. Like, it is not one where you can easily describe it like super well and encapsulate what it's all about. I feel like you just kind of have to watch it and form your own opinion.
Going in, I believe I had this movie at a 9 out of 10. I think it was 4.5 on a 5 on Letterboxd. I think I had it at. And you know what? I'm gonna keep it there. I really enjoy this one. It definitely kind of takes me back every time I watch it to like the first time I saw it in theaters in 2010 with my friends. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a time capsule in that sense, but it is obviously starting to see its age a little bit, because it was kind of time sensitive, some of the humor, but for the most part I think it is timeless in a sense. I think if you're someone who loves like video games, comics, just pop culture in general, I think this is a really good one that's kind of blends all that into a kind of unabashedly unique film. I don't think they ever for a second in the film kind of steer away from this vision that it had. Like Zach said, it does like just go all over the place, but I don't think it was ever like, now let's reel this back a little bit to like, get more people interested. I think they set out with a goal and a vision, and it kind of fell into people's laps because it is kind of cult classic-y now. Obviously, I gave it a 9 out of 10, and I highly recommend this one to anyone who hasn't seen it, especially if you're around our age. If you're like millennial, I think this is like great movie, and I feel like Gen Z might like it. It's a little hyperactive.
This movie is too chuggy for Gen Z.
Oh, I feel like it would, especially like Ramona Flowers as a character. I feel like is peak kids who grew up in like the scene emo era.
I mean, let's not get carried away. She did not have a big swoop or a side part, so let's take it easy.
She had the weird this thing.
She did have the curtains. Yes.
The meat curtains?
Face curtains.
Oh.
My God.
I didn't say meat curtains this episode. Dylan did. I was on good behavior this time.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to rate and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram at Cocktails and Classics Pod. Check out Scott Pilgrim on Peacock as of recording. Hit up the Drizzling Casker links, get you some gin, make you some G&Ts, or some G&Is. Check us out next week as we watch Top Gun. Share this with your friends and family, and as always, watch responsibly.